Hey, how's it going guys? Phil here, and this is a review for the iLife A6 robot vacuum. You will receive the robot vacuum, charging base, remote control, AC adapter, virtual wall, two AA batteries, two AAA batteries, two replacement sweeper brushes, a replacement main roller brush, a replacement HEPA filter, a cleaning brush, and a manual. The A6 vacuum measures 12 inches in diameter and 2 3/4 inches tall, so it's compact enough to go under most furniture like beds and couches. It has a single power auto clean button on top and no LCD panel on the robot. The rest of the controls and LCD screen for the settings are on the remote control. I like that the batteries were included for both the remote and the virtual wall. The remote requires the two AAA batteries. On the front of the unit is a physical bumper sensor, so that if it runs into objects, it'll just change direction. On the bottom are three cliff sensors, so the unit will not roll off a drop-off like stairs. The two sweepers are labeled left and right, and they're actually slightly different, so pay attention to the letters when replacing them. On the back of the unit is the dustbin, and you push this silver button and pull outward to remove it. Inside the dustbin are a pre-installed HEPA filter, foam sponge, and dust filter, which can be cleaned and washed except for the HEPA filter. These must be completely dry before using. To replace the bin, simply slide it back into the unit until it clicks. I like that the unit came with an extra set of all the replacement parts so that you can maintain it on your own. On the right side of the unit is the power port for direct charging and the power switch to turn the unit on. Let's set up the charging base and use that to charge the unit. The adapter plugs into the back of the charging base. You'll want to set the charging base somewhere where it gets 1.5 feet of clearance on either side and 5 feet in front of the station. Then set the robot vacuum down near or on top of the base. Now you can flip the switch on the vacuum to on. Once on, the power button will flash green. Press the home button on the remote control to make the robot find the charging station and begin charging. Optionally, you can plug the adapter directly into the vacuum. When the unit is done charging, the light behind the power button shuts off. There's no other battery life indicator, but the vacuum should always return to the charging base when it's running low on power. For the most part, it does end up making it back to the dock, but on several occasions it got stuck somewhere and I had to hunt for the unit elsewhere in the house. To set the time on the remote control, press the clock button, then adjust the time. Press the clock button again to save it. To set the schedule, press the bell button and choose the time that you want the vacuum to start cleaning automatically every day. There is no option to skip certain days. Setting the schedule to midnight disables this mode. The cleaning modes are Auto Clean, Max Mode, which applies more suction while cleaning, Spot Clean, and Edge Clean. Double pressing the play button activates Mini Mode, which signals to the robot that it's cleaning a small area or room. In Auto Mode, the vacuum runs for a couple hours and isn't super loud, but you'll still hear it making a fair amount of noise. Max Mode can only be activated when the unit is already running, and there's no way to have it start in Max Mode for automatic cleaning cycles. The spot cleaning mode runs the vacuum in spirals for 1 minute before it stops. Like most robot vacuums, the iLife A6 uses a random pattern to completely cover the layout of the space and avoid obstacles. I was impressed by how persistent it was in going over tall floor transitions where other robot vacuums have gotten stuck. If you see that the robot has missed a spot where you want to clean right away, you can use the remote to manually change its direction. The Edge Clean mode makes the robot follow the perimeter of the room, which it does pretty well. The cliff sensor works fine to keep the robot from taking a tumble off ledges, like this desk or a set of stairs. The virtual wall blocks off an area by creating an invisible line the vacuum cannot cross. This is useful for containing it to a single room that has one exit. If you have multiple virtual walls, the vacuum will not cross any of them. Make sure to pay attention to which side is the working area, otherwise the robot will cross the line and get stuck on the opposite side. There's also a buffer around the charging station that the robot tends to avoid until it needs to go back for charging. For vacuuming, the unit does a really nice job. It picks up a ton of dust, hair, and other debris from my floors, which honestly looked fairly clean to begin with. It's pretty good at getting into corners and spaces that are easily missed by hand vacuuming. I have 2 cats too, and their hair tends to get everywhere. The vacuum seems to pick up a lot of cat hair that even I can't see. I've only had the vacuum get stuck a handful of times, and it's usually over cords or shaggy rugs. That said, with a bit of mindful tidying before it runs, you can avoid this problem for the most part. Overall, the unit performed best on hardwood or tile floors, with few obstacles and not a ton of furniture or junk on the floor. It was able to run fine over rugs and carpet, as long as it didn't have fringe that it could get tangled on. The finish on the unit is pretty nice, but it tends to show the dust on its surface readily. However, the dustbin is easy to clean out, and with it running daily, the floors are always clean with relatively little work on my part. I hope you enjoyed this review. You can ask me any questions in the comments. I'll put a link to the product in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and join me next time.